Yeah, I still have some questions. And I don't know if I'll ever get answers for these questions, but I want to ask them here on my channel and just kind of put them out there. And then I'll probably be done talking about this whole John MacArthur, Julie Roys, Eileen Gray, David Gray situation. There needs to be a name given to this controversy because it's a lot to say. But I want to ask these questions, and then I'm not expecting there to be like a statement, apparently, the response, which I don't care if it's, an official response or not. We're not legal firms, we're not PR departments, it's churches. So if an elder speaks about something going on in his church, it's from that church. Like, it doesn't like have to have like a press conference and say this is an official statement from everyone. Like that's saying maybe a little bit more firmly what the entirety of the elders believe. But apparently, the response that I read and did a live stream on this past Saturday was an email sent to some individuals from Phil Johnson that got found out. And that's not surprising because, as I was saying when I was reading it, it sounded like Phil Johnson. Like some of the exact words even that he was using on Twitter is what was in that statement. And it goes in line with what we've seen publicly from him. But in that, he was saying that there won't be an official statement from the church. So I think that this whole John MacArthur, whatever scandal thing, like it's kind of gonna just fade away. And it's unfortunate because they should respond. They really should. And they should answer some of these questions that I have and that others have. Like, I'm not just saying this for myself. This is some of the stuff that I've seen in the comment sections of some of these videos, and not just mine, but other people's as well. So I think that Grace Community Church has a responsibility to address some of these concerns, these questions. So I have 5 questions, and I'm just going to basically list them. And then I'm probably going to be done talking about this until, I don't know, like I said, if something relevant pops up, then I'll address it. But these are the questions that I think we're going to just be left to wondering and not be given any kind of an answer. Although, like I said, I think that Eileen at least deserves it, and Julie Roys deserves it because of all the flack that she's gotten about this. But my first question would be, why did Carrie Hardy and Bill Shannon not report the physical abuse when they knew about it? I think that's a fair question to ask. To me, that's the most important. Because had there been an investigation done, that family probably could have been saved from a lot of heartache and abuse. And it is the responsibility of elders in a local church to protect the flock. And that doesn't just mean heresy and talking from the pulpit and preaching, the word. It also means like physically, if there's like a predator, including within the home, that the elders should defend those sheep, those dear lambs that they've been entrusted with. And so I want to know that. Why didn't they report the physical abuse? Because that's what was known. They didn't know about other things that were going on. Eileen didn't either. That came later. But they did know about physical abuse. And I want to know why they decided to not report that. I also want to know what made them think that David was done abusing. Any pastor, any counselor would know that if someone is going that far in physically abusing their children and their wife, there's other stuff going on. And these people are usually very good about covering up their tracks. So I would like to know from them what made them think that David was actually done abusing, or that there wasn't more going on. That's really the question. What made them think that this was, isolated events of anger, rather than, a pattern, and a pattern that might go deeper than just, one time getting too angry and losing your temper and physically acting out. So what made them think that David was done abusing? I also want to know, why didn't they apologize to Eileen once David was sentenced? It's one thing to think, okay, I believe that this person is innocent. A huge mistake. But, people make mistakes. But once that sentencing came, once the government said, yes, this person is an abuser, and once they heard the testimony, look at the court findings. Once they heard the testimony, why didn't they apologize to her? Rescind the church discipline. Not that you could ever take that moment back, but you could at least try your best to bring reconciliation and at least a sense of closure to that whole circumstance for Eileen and her family. So I want to know, why didn't they apologize to her when the sentencing came down? I also want to know why they refuse to apologize now. What makes them so sure that David was innocent and continues to be innocent with all the facts that are laid out? They don't just send people to prison. I know that some people are saying, well, innocent people go to prison. It's very interesting to me that they're like going to that extreme of, oh, this must be that 1 in a million kind of shot here with that person, that they're innocent. I don't know the stats. I'm just saying it's very rare. Why are they saying that? Why don't they apologize now? I'm sure that there might be legal things. Someone brought that up on my live stream of like, why aren't they doing this? And I think that there are legal reasons of not wanting to be sued. And maybe there are others. Speculation here, but maybe there are others and they don't want to get sued by those individuals either. That could be the case. But I would like to know, and I think the world wants to know, and those who have supported John MacArthur in his ministry would like to know, why they refuse to just simply apologize now, to take ownership for their past failures, and just say, we were wrong. Again, at least from my perspective, I can't speak for the rest of the internet. I can only speak for myself and say that I never thought that it was malicious. I never thought that it was like John MacArthur was knowingly covering up for someone who would be convicted of these kinds of crimes. I'm not saying that at all. I've never said that. But I want to know why they don't apologize now. And lastly, I want to know why Phil Johnson is the one talking and no one else. Why is that? Is it just because, he has, social media and likes to tweet? Why is he sending out emails like the one that I read this past Saturday and that many are taking as a direct response from the elders? I don't think that's unfair, by the way. Like I said, he's an elder. So he's speaking about his church. He's a pastor at this church, an elder. So I don't think it's unfair to say that it's from the church because he's a pastor at that church. But why is he the one who is talking? And why isn't anyone saying, when he says these things like he did in that response to the family ministry, like on Facebook, he made that statement to them and they took it and posted it. And then this email that came out, why hasn't the church walked that back? If it's not a statement from the church, as they would say, as Phil Johnson wants to say, why hasn't anyone walked that back and said, no, he's not speaking for us? Why is he being allowed to do that? And so are we supposed to take that as, yes, this is their response? That's the conclusion that I come to. So I want to know why. Why is Phil Johnson the only one talking about this from the church? Those are the questions that I have. I want to know what you have. What are your questions? Like I said, I don't think that we're ever going to get answers to these things. I think it's pretty clear that the church is going to remain quiet on it. There's been some talk about the difference between being silent and quiet about things. But they're not going to talk. That's pretty clear. Unless something else comes out, more investigative journalism is done, other people come out and say this similar thing happened to me, something like that, which could happen, might not, but it could happen. But those are the questions that I have. I'd like to know what you think. If you agree with my questions, if you think those are fair questions to ask, like this video, because as I've said before, there are going to be people who don't. And I think this is a big deal. This is not just like, oh, this is, a drop in the bucket of all the different scandals that go on. This is the most prominent expository preacher in his church. And such an important issue of domestic violence within the church and how we handle it. These things are not small. This is not a small controversy. This is a big deal. So I think that we deserve answers to those questions. Will we get them? I don't know. But those are the ones that I have. And I'll see you in the next video.